Week 2 was so mediocre. 4 different lineups that had a shot at cashing, but just none of them could quite get there. That's not how we want to play. We're trying to get to the top, and just hanging around the cash line is not necessarily the way I want to spend my Sundays. It all came back last night, though, turning $15 into $125 as I took down yet another single game tournament. We'll take a look at that lineup tonight and then quickly jump in to week 3 main slate action here tonight. Let's get after it.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Cut the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Patent pockets. Take the dollar, dollar. Can't stand so sloppy.
Welcome in to the Rumbles of Red, powered by Bite Size Sports. Thank you all for being here. So sorry for the delay tonight. Man, I get here, get everything ready to go. I'm just kind of chilling out, waiting. Actually jump into a StreamYard set with my boy James, who's finishing up his Titans podcast for the weekend. And all of a sudden, my computer starts flashing at me, restarted in 60 seconds. Whatever. So another update, just really, really bad timing for my computer to update. So sorry about the delay here, but we're here. We're ready to go, rock and roll, and hope that you all are here in the chat with me. If you are, let me know how to go in week 2. Hopefully your week was way better than mine. Mine was an absolute disaster. Just nothing fell my way in week 2, and it felt gross building all those teams as well. Just didn't really like any of them. Turns out they weren't good teams. So kind of changed up my plan here this week a little bit. Changed up my weekly, just my my preparation. What articles am I reading? What podcasts am I watching? Those kind of things. So I kind of changed it up a little bit this week, hoping that will help out. Also got the Established the Run. I told you guys last week I was waiting for them. They're supposed to give me $100 off. We finally got that all taken care of. So I've gotten the Established the Run. I got all their projections now. So love to be able to talk projections with you all and kind of tell you where your players are sitting at. If you have questions about different players or what players you like, I can definitely talk about their rostership this weekend, their points projections this weekend. Established the Run has quite a bit of that data for us to dive into. If you want to do this all day, every day with me, chatting it up, talking DFS, talking season long, jump into the Bite Size Sports Discord. There is a link in the description right below. Check that out. Join us. We're just talking. There's a channel that talks about Star Wars or something. All day, every day. There's a channel that's talking football. Obviously, we have another damn fantasy podcast channel, which is our season-long show. And then there's a Rumbles of Red talking a little DFS stuff. So if you want to just come in, talk DFS, maybe Sunday mornings, just talk about our lineups, those kind of things, I am there. I am active and would love to see you all there with us in the Discord. Let's check out Underdog. Last week, we did 2 Underdog drafts on stream. Worked out pretty well. If you haven't joined Underdog yet, there's so much to do on Underdog. It's not just best ball. I know over the summertime, we did a whole lot of best ball stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to go back to there. Let me get this pulled up here. But there's so much more to Underdog than just the best ball stuff. I need this guess it won't move up any. Oh well. You can do pick'ems, daily pick'ems. So come in here, go to pick'ems, go to NFL, take it higher or lower, right? You can go through here, search whoever you want. Maybe you like Josh Kelly this weekend. Go in here, search Joshua Kelly. touchdowns, higher, lower, right? So I'm just putting these in here. I don't like, say you like higher on the touchdowns, and then you want Mahomes because you think he's going to throw 300 passing yards, right? And then I want to come in here. I want to put $10 in. This $10, you get both of them right. He pays out $30. So there's a pick'ems in here as well. So if you want to do something like that, get into Underdog. Use my promo code Trevor Steinbacher. I use it for the drafts. Last week we did some Battle Royale drafts. We did the $10 ones. We're going to do a couple of these tonight as well at the end of the show. So if you're here with us, stick around to the end. We'll do some drafts here on Underdog. Last week, main slate games. I did 2 of them. If you remember, I did which one's this? Yeah, I did the Charger stack, the Herbert to Keenan Allen, which was looking really, really good for a while. Then the afternoon, Darren Wall didn't end up doing anything. DK Metcalf didn't do a whole lot. Although that Seattle-Detroit game went off, which is the whole premise of me playing Gibbs, St. Brown, and DK, unfortunately, I just didn't have the right guys from that in this little draft here. But I did cash, just some in cash with, interesting enough, right, with the Joe Burrow to T. Higgins and a Mark Andrews bring back. But in this one, I had Saquon, who had a monster game. Gabe Davis, who I was all over last week. I kept talking about Gabe Davis all week long. Really liked him. He showed up last week exactly as I expected. So got my money back. So we'll do a couple of these this week as well. Good stuff there. As far as weekly winners is concerned, wasn't really close last week. Let's see. How do I get to that? Live best ball, weekly winners. Our weekly winner stuff wasn't really close last week. It's not really close right now. I didn't have any of these guys from last night except for George Kittle. Gave me 12.5. So we'll see. Hopefully one of these days I can do well here and get a little bit of money from weekly winners and show that off a little bit. But let's move on. We're going to get into Underdog drafting here this evening towards the end. Are you guys doing any Battle Royale drafting? Let me know in the comments. Are you doing any drafting on Underdog, like the weekly drafting, week to week? I drafted just like it's a DFS team. That's just the way I look at it. Just the way I look at it. If you haven't subscribed to the show yet, please subscribe. Consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, Bite Size Sports. We've got a goal of 750 subscribers by the end of the NFL season. And we have a brand new show, y'all. We have Sports Junkies going live on Monday nights talking sports betting. So it'll be an awesome opportunity for, I think it's Sportsbook Junkies, actually, not Sports Junkies, Sportsbook Junkies. But just a great opportunity to get some bets in, start looking at the early lines for the following NFL week, do some Monday Night Live stuff. So make sure you check out Keebler and Gang Monday nights and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. At the top, I talked about last night's win. So I took down, let me pull it up here. I took down one of the 100-person contests that I play every single game. Finally took one down last night for this year. This is the first one this year that I've taken down. So let's pull this up. It makes it easier to see. Let me get that off. There we go. All right, here we go. So at the top here, took it down with a Deebo Samuel at MVP. Christian McCaffrey, of course, you had to have him last night if you wanted a chance. Brock Purdy, Ronnie Bell, and Gary Brightwell, y'all. Ronnie Bell, Gary Brightwell. Bell catches that touchdown in the first half. I'm pumped up, loving what I'm seeing. Gary Brightwell doesn't do a lot, but caught a few passes, and he was so dirt cheap that it allowed me to play the big three from San Francisco And that's really what you needed. And then ultimately, the biggest reason I won this matchup, this tournament, Christian McCaffrey, 56% in the MVP spot. Deebo Samuel, just 10%. So as you'll see, all these guys behind me had Christian McCaffrey. And lo and behold, Deebo outscores Christian McCaffrey by less than 3 points. By less than 3 points in the MVP spot. Less than 3 points in the MVP spot, and that's what won me the money last night. You see here, second place, he gets George Kittle in there, and he plays a Lawrence Cager, right? Like, makes sense. Just play the best you got out of San Francisco, and it almost won it, honestly. And then just take a goose egg. Fortunately enough for me, I take Ronnie Bell. He gets a 9.4. Gary Brightwell, those two outscore George Kittle, Lawrence Cager together. And then again, having this Deebo and MVP spot giving me those extra 3 points was absolutely huge. That last touchdown, I went wild. There was still like 6 minutes left, so it was a very stressful 6 minutes. But ended up holding out and taking down the top. So pretty pumped about that. These 100-person contests are what I play in every single game. It's $5, 3 max. I play 3 of them every single time. And you'll see, honestly, if I just look at my entries in general, first place, 53rd place, 93rd place. This is exactly how I want to build on a single game because I don't want, obviously it'd be great if I got 3 of them in the top, right? That would be awesome. But I'm trying to play a range of outcomes in this game, and I'm only playing this one contest. So how do I get the max range of outcomes? That's why you end up seeing me a lot of times. I'll have, somebody close to the cash, somebody kind of mid-tier, and a lineup that's all the way at the bottom. It just is the way I build it. And I'm okay with that because I know that every once in a while I've got a shot at first place. So pretty good start to week 3 for me there. Hopefully your start to week 3, if you played last night, went well as well. But let's start to dive into this week 3 main slate because that's why we're all here tonight. Try to get the best plays for week 3 and this main slate. And we'll start off with some of the games going on. Kiva did a good job Monday. Yeah, I absolutely agree. I agree. We'll have to figure out if he's going to have like a long-term co-host or we're just all going to kind of, rotate with him, whatnot. But Kibo's a very sharp guy. He knows his stuff. He knows his betting. He's putting bets into the Discord constantly. So again, if you just want to bet and you want somebody to talk betting with you, get into the Discord because he's constantly putting bets in the Discord. So they're free bets. Like if you just want to be able to tail somebody who knows what they're doing is winning, and they're winning their bets, like it's a free tail. Jump in our Discord. All right, this computer restarting has thrown me off. I gotta pull up one more thing. We'll talk about week 3 here. Oh. All right. Week 3, main slate. We got Minnesota hosting the Los Angeles Chargers, 53.5 points right at the top. Highest total on the slate. For me, just, a high overview of this game. Big stacks, put 4 or 5 guys in there if you want to just overstack the game. I think it will be very chalky, but you're going to see me. I'm going to attack this game with every lineup pretty much, even if that just means I've got, a one-off Jahmyr Gibbs. No, excuse me, that's the wrong game. Whether I have a one-off like Joshua Kelly, or maybe I've got a Mike Williams, Justin Jefferson stack, KJ Osborne. It might not be a mega stack every time with every lineup, but I will have something from this game probably most often. And, I might even get cute with it and play a defense from this game just to really leverage off all the chalk that's going to come from this 53.5 point total. If you're playing season long, you got guys in this game, just put them in. Man, this is expected to be a high scoring game this weekend, probably shootout style. It's an even spread, right? So you're really expecting both teams to really go at it. Unlike some of these other teams we're about to talk about. Denver, Miami. Miami is 6.5 point favorite and a 48 point total. This is kind of our most important talking point of the weekend. Tyreek Hill versus Justin Jefferson. We'll talk about it when we get to wide receivers, but the Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson situation is going to be one that is probably going to determine whether or not we win money this weekend or not. I do think these Dolphins will be a little bit lower rostered this weekend because they are playing Denver. So I do think this is kind of a sneaky team that you could build around. KC, Chicago here in Kansas City at Arrowhead, the late afternoon hammer. Heavy Chief stacks. I mean, I'm talking, let's go Mahomes, Pacheco, Kelsey, and Sky Moore. If we're going to play this game, let's really lean into the Chiefs. Don't really care much about a bring back here. Think this is a get right spot for this Chiefs offense. Should they get right would be the question, but I think it's a really good spot for them to potentially just come in and dominate, and you don't really need a bring back potentially. Atlanta, Detroit is next with a total of 46. I kind of like this to be a sneaky game stack here. It's going to be in Detroit, going to be in the Dome. Jared Goff plays better in Detroit. The biggest issue here with this game is Amon-Ra St. Brown is dealing with the toe injury. So he might be out, which kind of gives me pause on like a Jared Goff, Laporta, St. Brown, obviously. Like that would be a double stack I would like. Maybe bring back Bijan. He's super expensive. Maybe bring him back. Maybe bring back London. Something to that matter. I like this game, and I'll like it even more if ASB is actually healthy. And then just a couple other teams with high team implied totals, meaning they are expected to score a lot this weekend. The Baltimore Ravens, Jacksonville Jaguars, Buffalo Bills, and Dallas Cowboys. They're all expected to. They're all their spreads are 6.5 or more. They all have high team implied totals. So these are kind of the teams I'm targeting this week in DFS. So I'm not necessarily targeting those games, but can I get a Tony Pollard from the Cowboys? Can I get, Zay Flowers or a Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne, Steph Diggs, Gabe Davis? I want to just try to get bits and pieces of some of these teams, not necessarily game stack them because their spread is so much. What's up, K Wild? Holla at your boy, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Maybe we will hang out here in a little bit. Maybe we can hang out after the show a little bit. All right, so those are the games. I just kind of wanted to run through the games a little bit just to kind of talk through those, give you my thoughts on the slate overall, just the games on the slate. And but now let's get into quarterbacks. Who's your favorite quarterback for week 2? Let me know in the chat. Excuse me, week 3. Who's your favorite quarterback for week 3? Trev, how's my Titans best ball team doing? Well, my friend, let's take a look. Hopefully I named it. I think I did, right? Let's take a look. I am currently I am what is it? I am advancing 9 out of my 59 teams. So what is that? 15%? 15%. What did we see? This is a problem. I got to remember what we drafted in, it was kind of later in the game, right? It wouldn't have been a puppy. Although my early puppies are doing phenomenal. Maybe a fast puppy. Let's see. Chihuahua. There's too many of them. I wish I could search it by name. That would be legit. If I could search by name. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. All right. I see a bunch of rumbles of red, but I'm not sure. I'll keep looking here. There's one with Kev. We're in 4th place. I'll keep looking. This isn't good. This isn't good for radio. It's most likely my best one. Let me check. I'll keep looking here. Let's talk about some quarterbacks. Tua Tyreek stack this week. That's really a stack that I like because all the projections are not really projecting Tyreek and Justin Jefferson to be that much different in terms of total scoring. But Tyreek's projected to be like 10, 15% less rostered than Justin Jefferson. And so it feels like it's direct leverage. It's only $100 less. Yeah, look at this. FanDuel projection points-wise, Justin Jefferson 17.5, Tyreek Hill 17.2. Ownership 25 to JJ 17. So it's an 8 percentage points different. And you save $100 to go to Tyreek. Their ceiling is the same. It's just really about that's going to be the breaking point, I think, this week. We'll get into wide receivers more often. I do like Tua this week. I like Tua in a double stack with Tyreek Hill and Durham Smythe, especially if Jalen Waddle is going to be out. I think that is also pretty good leverage on the other 8K quarterbacks that we can pull up here. So there's a lot. Ownership kind of looks flat here for FanDuel quarterbacks, and there's plenty of 8K options. You got Mahomes at the very top. Obviously, he's probably going to be the highest rostered on FanDuel. I talked about this kind of being a get-right spot for him. You've got Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar, and Tua all over 8K. Lamar, my favorite play of the week against just a really bad Colts team. He's my favorite play. I love putting him with a Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. Herbert and Cousins in that same game, that Minnesota Chargers game, highest scoring game on the slate, is going to project very well this week. And then you got Tua sitting right here, as James pointed out, 8,100. I think he'll be the lowest rostered out of these top 5 to 6 guys. And so that's pretty good leverage. Pretty good leverage there. Any other quarterbacks? I want to talk about one other quarterback from my standpoint. You could throw Gardner in there now that he's going to be, because Richardson's out. I would rather go CJ Stroud. If you just want to get nasty at quarterback, CJ Stroud 6,600. You're saving yourself $2,200 off the Lamars and Mahomes and Herberts, right? Over $2,000 savings. Houston, a top 3 passing team in terms of attempts through the first 2 weeks. Jacksonville, their opponent this week, is a bottom 8 pass defense thus far. It's really thin. It's really nasty. But if you're going to go into a potentially larger field tournament, there are a couple $5 and $10 tournaments that I don't mind that are 11,000 people. That would be kind of where I would play something like this. I wouldn't play it in my 350 or 470 person contests that I play in, just because I don't think you need to in those contests. But in a larger field, I don't mind a CJ Stroud double stack. Nico Collins is the real deal. And you can throw a Robert Woods or a Tank Dell in there, and they're going to throw the ball a lot. I also love ETN as a bringback. We'll talk about him here in a moment. It's one that I don't absolutely hate. It feels nasty, feels gross. But I kind of like CJ Stroud this week. I've been thinking about kicking the tires on just literally entering one of those larger field tournaments, single entry, of course, but larger field tournaments, just to try out a little CJ Stroud action. really banking on a bounce back game from who, James? Odell is out. Yes, Odell's out for the Ravens this week. I'm not really that worried about it. I don't think it changes much because they are playing the Indianapolis Colts. No offense to my main man Kev, but the Colts are kind of bad. They're kind of bad, just a little this year. I like 2 separate stacks on the Minnesota Los Angeles game. Give me one of them. Let's build. Let's. Oh yeah. We need a bounce back from Tyreek. On another damn fantasy podcast last week, I said sit. My sit was Tua. I said sit him. I know he had a week 1 quarterback 1, but I said y'all need to sit him. He's playing against New England. New England is very, very good, and I was right. I will just say that I was right on that call. Somebody give me a quarterback in the chat here. What quarterback do you want? Do you want to build around one of these top guys? Let's build a lineup here. Let's get right into building a lineup. Let's look at what quarterback do we want to build around? What quarterback do we want to build around as I continue to look for James's best ball team? Somebody throw it in the chat. Someone throw one in the chat. We need a quarterback to start this first build. Man, James, I am missing this. Houston Jack. Let's go with your boy Lamar. All right, let's do it. Yeah. Houston Jacksonville. I just talked about Houston going CJ Stroud. I like that a lot. All right, let's build one around Lamar. I'm going straight up 2 things here. I'm not playing a bring back with this one. Remember, we just talked about it. Let's go back over here. Let me bring this in for us. Right? Baltimore, an 8-point favorite with a 44 total. You're putting your team implied total around 25-ish. Around 25, somewhere in there. So I don't need a bring back for Indianapolis. Not worried about that. I guess it'd probably be more like 27-17, something like that. That's 44. I like Zay Flowers a lot, and I am going to go ahead and double stack it. You could also go Gus Edwards here. If you're not aware, Justice Hill is out this week, so I don't mind Gus Edwards. How's he projecting this week? Let's take a look at his projections. Gus Edwards. Doesn't have a great projection. 11-point median projection, 20 ceiling. Super low ownership though. And good value. Almost a 1 value. So it's positive value at so why don't we do that? Why don't we not do that? That's an option. You could go Gus Edwards. I don't want to do it, but you could go Gus Edwards here. Let's just jam in Mark Andrews again. Let's just jam in Mark Andrews here. Let's get that a little bit less. I talked earlier about always trying to get something out of this Los Angeles, Minnesota game. I think this is a really good opportunity. We could go, somewhere like, look, Josh Kelly let us down last week, right? We know that. We understand that. But that's okay. We could go Kelly and Jefferson. See if we can keep Jefferson in here. Have a couple alphas, Lamar, Jefferson, Mark Andrews. We do have to get cheap, obviously, after this. But I think Josh Kelly is going to have an opportunity against this Chargers run defense. I do think they'll have an opportunity against this team. A couple of late games, Carolina, Seattle, Dallas, Arizona, Kansas City, Chicago. Love the defenses for Dallas and Kansas City late. Also really don't mind Seattle's defense late. So They are pretty expensive though, so I don't think I'm gonna go that route. Let's go. What defense could we go to? We could go Patriots. Where's the Patriots are 5K? Wow. Let's find really cheap because we're trying to really stuff in these big dogs here. We're really trying to stuff in these guys. We go Atlanta, no ASB, right? No Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love a little Bijan Atlanta, but can't do that in this one. Actually, where's Cleveland, Tennessee at? Oh, let's go Tennessee. Deshaun Watson hasn't looked great. I do want to talk about Amari Cooper later, but let's go Tennessee against this Cleveland team. All right, so that leaves us 6,100. We're building around the Baltimore stack, Lamar, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. We've got a Josh Kelly, Justin Jefferson stack. Got the Tennessee defense here. Let's see. Where can we go? I don't think we can get Pollard. I think he's too expensive. I kind of like building this early one before we even talk about running backs and wide receivers. You know what I mean? Just to kind of get a feel for where the salaries lie. Let's see here. Who's cheap? Let's look at these cheap. Jerome Ford's down here, but we just took the Tennessee Titans, so we don't want to do that. I'll give you a play, y'all. I'll give you a play that I am going to play way too much this week. I'm going to lose way too much money on one. Kendre Miller for the New Orleans Saints. Jamal Williams is out. Alvin Kamara is still suspended. Everybody wants to go play Tony Jones Jr. Give me some Kendre Miller this week. 4,600. He's so cheap. You could also get a little Christian Watson on the other side if you wanted. On that game, not bad. I kind of want to go over to this Chiefs game. Pacheco's projecting really, really well this week. Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson. I don't think those are bad plays this week against this Chiefs defense. But ultimately, I want to, if Kadarius Toney's out, I don't know. I want to play somebody. I probably can't play two tight ends. Oh, you could, dude. What if we did that? What if we just went freaking mega stack, just go double tight end, double alpha tight ends. We get Justin Jefferson, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce all in here. All we need is a $5,900 wide receiver to go along with it. Romeo Dobbs on the other side of Kendre Miller. Jaden Reed, 2 touchdowns last week. Michael Thomas, just say New Orleans goes off. There's so many options here. Darnell Mooney on the other side of Travis Kelce, right? You could easily just say, you know what? Last week was a Reed game. This week's a Dobbs game. Boom, you got it. Playing Miller, this cheap running back, opens it up for some smash plays. Especially if you're in a smaller contest, getting Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Justin Jefferson. These are some big-time names, big-time salaries. I don't absolutely hate that. I don't hate that at all. Titans get 2 secondary starters back this week. Watson has looked like junk. He sure has. I kind of like Amari Cooper this week. I think he's going to be good. Well, I'll talk about him in wide receivers, but getting 2 secondary starters back kind of makes me worry a little bit. Cousins to JJ, we will definitely be talking about that stack. All right, let's talk running backs. Let's talk running backs. There's a lot of value on running backs this week. Who do you guys like the most at running back in week 3? Who do you like? Dare I say, the big dog, Derrick Henry, since James is in here right now, he's projecting well, but nobody's going to play him this week. It's not a Derrick Henry play week. And when nobody wants to play Derrick Henry, that's usually the best time to play Derrick Henry. Less than 5% ownership on FanDuel projected. No one wants to play him this week. Tony Pollard. Let's start at the top. I'll just start at the top real fast. Tony Pollard here, 9,400. Whew, he's expensive, man. He is expensive. Bijan, 9K, also expensive, also looks great. I just talked about Derrick Henry, 8,400. I'm not touching Aaron Jones this week. Travis Etienne at 8K. Kenneth Walker, 76. Brian Robinson Jr., man. Outstanding first 2 weeks. My absolute favorite zero RB type of guy. I was getting him anywhere and everywhere I could. Didn't realize how much I have of him. Actually, last week I realized in redraft leagues, I have like 75% Robinson and 75% Amari Cooper. I'm not sure how that worked out. But I love the Robinson stuff. Really stoked I have him, obviously. But let's talk about values here. The values at running back, it's gross, y'all. There's a whole bunch of guys down here in this low 6K. All these guys that are options. Zach Moss, right? Zach Moss has a heck of a game last week. Projecting well again this week. Ramondre Stevenson all the way down to 6,500 on FanDuel. That shouldn't be right. He shouldn't be cheaper than Tyler Algier, but he's playing against the Jets. It's gross. A.J. Dillon against a tough Saints defense. Alexander Madison hasn't done a darn thing all year, but nobody's going to play him this week. I don't think anyways, because now Cam Akers gets traded for. Cam Akers ain't playing this week. So, but now the public perception is Alexander Madison's even worse than he actually is. And I don't like Alexander Madison. I don't think he's a good running back. I was pretty open about that all offseason as well. However, you now put Alexander Madison in a situation in a high-scoring game where the public's completely off of him because they just traded for Cam Akers. He can still fall into the end zone 2 times. He is being projected in the 20% for ownership. But I don't know. Is that are they really that many people going to click the button for him? Joshua Kelly, Isaiah Pacheco down here, 5,700. These are some of the best values on the board right now per the projections. And they're all just nasty. They're just gross. Right? Let's go back to the top. Robinson versus Tony Pollard. Because everybody's going to be trying to play Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill, nobody's trying to play these guys. Everybody wants to go cheap running back, expensive wide receiver this week. It might be a week to flip the build. Maybe we get Tony Pollard in there. Bijan Robinson, Derrick Henry, Travis Etienne. Maybe we get some of these guys up there, right? Travis Etienne is playing Houston, y'all. It's Houston. You play your running backs against Houston. Easy as that. All right, 2 other running back. All right, I already talked about Miller. Let me talk about Gibbs. Jameer Gibbs, no David Montgomery this week. Here, where's he at? 7K in Detroit. Might not be any ASB either. Gibbs should be the focal point of this offense this week. I really like him here in this mid-range tier. And then I just showed you Kendre Miller at 4,500. Absolutely. It's a dart throw. It's a, shot in the dark, close your eyes, see what happens. But I don't mind it. I do think this week, though, it's going to be I think it's a good week to flip the build. I think everybody wants to play either Jefferson or Tyreek, and for really, really good reason, right? But what if that's not what it is? What if all the touchdowns go to Durham Smythe and Braxton Berrios? and River Craycraft. Jordan Addison catches 2 touchdowns. Hawkinson gets a touchdown. Right? And these 2 top wide receivers fail. Not in terms of like failing for season long, but they could fail you for DFS. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. All right, let's talk about wide receivers here. If you were picking between Tyreek and JJ, which one are you taking this week? Just in a vacuum, they're $100 difference. They're projecting the exact same. JJ's rostership is 8 points higher than Tyreek's. Who are you taking this week? If you have to put one of them on your team, JJ or Tyreek? Let me know in the chat. Okay, this says St. Brown's availability is trending in the right direction. Had a full participant today at practice. That's good news. Justin Jefferson or Tyreek Hill? Because you're not going to be able to play them both. Right? Unless, of course, you're playing CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins. Spelled Collins wrong. Maybe you want to throw in Robert Woods, Tank Dell. Get a little double stack for Houston. Definitely bringing back ETN. Cheapest wide. Just punt the Bears. Right? Punt the Bears. Man, I don't think you can do it. I mean, I went the cheapest stack I could find. 5,200. I guess you could throw Miller in there again, right? Leaves you 5,800 at tight end. Gross. More gross. Sam Laporta. Lock it in. Gives me $600 back. Back to 5,200. You could probably come off ETN. Just don't have a Jacksonville bring back. Actually, what's Evan Ingram? 59. Oh, yeah, you could do it. Look, now get a couple 60. Gus Edwards we just talked about. Alexander Madison we just talked about. A.J. Dillon we just talked about. So you can get them both in a lineup. It doesn't feel good. Again, this would be like a large field tournament. You got a CJ Stroud double stack. No Jacksonville bring back. That doesn't feel. Oh, yeah, I got Evan Ingram in there. Just kidding. And just go one-offs. A.J. Dillon, Gus Edwards, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Bears defense. You could come down on some of these. Right, you could come down to like a Pacheco, who's looking pretty good in the projections, and come off of Chicago. Get up to like a Carolina. You could play Minnesota. Just say like this game actually kind of fails, except for the Justin Jefferson stuff. Probably go like a Carolina. So you can get them both in there. But everybody in the chat saying Tyreek. Kyle says Tyreek. James says Tyreek. The Wall says Tyreek. So, yeah, I actually like Tyreek a little bit more too, just because you get that ownership discount. Everybody's going to be flocking to this Minnesota Chargers game, and for really, really good reason. Right? I talked about Zay Flowers earlier when I built a Baltimore stack or a Lamar Jackson team. Zay Flowers running a route on nearly every pass play. Every time Lamar Jackson drops back to pass, Zay Flowers is running a route. We already talked about how bad this Colts defense is. They have not been good against wide receivers. So I like Zay Flowers as a wide receiver this week. Amari Cooper against his Titans pass defense. The Titans are very much a pass funnel, right? You don't want to run against this front four. They are very stout. Secondary is weak. James said it in the chat earlier that they're getting 2 starters back, so that should help them. But it's not like the secondary was just phenomenal before either. They were a team that we picked on a little bit last year in the secondary. And I also think playing Amari Cooper is really good leverage because after the unfortunate Nick Chubb injury last week, everybody's going to try to flock, I think, a little bit to Jerome Ford this week. Jerome Ford pushing 20% per established the run. So you get him, I would say what's Cooper going to be? Sub 5%? Okay. So Cooper's okay. The field's sharp. Cooper's up there by 20 as well. So maybe it's not as much leverage as I expected it to be. I still think it's a decent play, but it's not as much leverage. I figured Cooper would be, because of how bad Deshaun Watson's been playing. Everybody's talking about how bad Deshaun Watson's been playing. I just kind of assumed Cooper would be closer to 5%, but he's not. He's close to 20% as well. And then the Drake London. I talked about him last week. I didn't end up getting to him at all. And of course, he scores a touchdown because I don't play him at all. But yeah, this Atlanta-Detroit game, which I said earlier, it's kind of a sneaky game under the radar of the other, because you've got the 48 and the 53-point totals. You've got the big-time names like the Ravens and Chiefs on this slate. So I think this Atlanta-Detroit game goes under the radar. And if I'm going to play a Detroit stack, bringing London back, I think it's going to have a good opportunity there. A couple other cheaper options. Let me pull these guys up. Tank Dell. Tank Dell's getting a little bit of run. 10, that's why I couldn't remember exactly. 10 targets last week. 7 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Had a really good game last week. I think he'd be a really cheap bring back if you want to play like a Calvin Ridley, Tank Dell, little stack there. And then KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne for the Minnesota Vikings, 5,600. Not bad. I get it. There's not a lot here, right? 10 and 4 points. You're not getting a lot out of him. He's been involved, and he's not really looking to be highly owned this week. Everybody wants to flock to Jordan Addison, Alexander Madison, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins. Like everybody wants a piece of this game, but everybody's kind of forgetting about KJ Osborne. And this could be the exact spot where, he's the one that catches the extra touchdown, not Jordan Addison. So don't mind him as a little bit of a cheaper option for wide receiver. Wouldn't touch Ford against Titans defense. Yeah, I agree. It's actually kind of funny because like last week, you had value open up in the wide running back position in Josh Kelly against the Titans defense, right? Like it feels like this is a reoccurring event now. So hopefully the Chiefs don't play the Titans next week, so that way our running backs can stay healthy. But that seems to be the trend right now. Whoever plays the Titans next week, their running back gets hurt this week. And then everybody gets hyped up for their backup. But it's against the Titans, guys. This Titans front is legit. I will give you that, James. I will give you that. All right, let's talk tight end, and then we'll build 2 to 3 more teams here. How about that? How about that? And it's hard not to love the top guys, right? Travis Kelce, 8K. TJ Hawkinson, 7,500. Mark Andrews, 7,400. It's going to be tough to fit these guys in if you're going to go big with your wide receivers and running backs. But I like all 3 of them. I think they're all 3 in really good spots this week. I think they all 3 could smash. They're all three projecting really well. It's just a matter of can you fit them into your lineup, right? I will say, just looking at some projections here, Travis Kelce is projecting nearly 20% ownership this week against this Bears defense. Makes sense, but he's definitely that's chalk for tight end. Whereas Hawkinson and Mark Andrews are 5% or below. So if you're looking for some leverage at the tight end position, but you want to pay up, I think Hawkinson and Andrews is the way to go. If you're looking for, that late game, what can I do in the afternoon? Travis Kelce is going to be the way to go. And then if you need to pivot off him, you could do like a 2v2, right? You could do a Kelce with, say, like Brandon Cooks. I don't know, like try to find somebody else in this Dallas, Arizona, or you could do JSN. JSN is going to hit, y'all. I've talked about him every single week, but he's going to get there. He's going to get there. He is absolutely dominating in the target shares. 5 targets, at least 5 targets both games. So these two, this is a 2v2 is 13.3. 13.3 is what their salary is, right? So say you need to get off of Travis Kelce because your team has done absolutely porous. You could go to like a Ferguson who's 5K and then find, okay, let's see, a wide receiver, CD Lamb. That'll be $200 more. But you can do like a DK Metcalf, right? So instead of Travis Kelce, Jackson Smith, and Jigba at 13.3, you could go DK Metcalf, Jake Ferguson at 12.4 and be way under the radar in terms of ownership. Smith and Jigba sitting at about 4%. Metcalf, 6%. So you would go from about a 25% gig, two guys that add up to about 25% to 2 guys that would add up to about 9%. So just a late swap opportunity there if you do put Travis Kelce in your lineup early on. Other than that, at tight end, I'm just going to try to correlate as much as possible with my quarterbacks. That just seems to be the best place to go right now. The tight end's a dead zone. Like, it's just all dead right now. It's so bad. All right. In the chat, right now is your time to shine. Let me know. Give me a game you want to see me stack up here. Let's go. What game do you want me to stack up? Let's start to build some teams here before we get into our Underdog Battle Royale drafts. Let's build a couple FanDuel teams first. But I need you to let me know, what team do you want me to build? What game do you want me to stack up? Let me know in the chat, y'all. I'm here to build for you. I'm here to help you all. I can build just my own lineups, right? We can just do that, but that doesn't always help you. You guys have guys in mind that you want to play. So let's hear it. Let's hear what team, what game you guys want me to stack up. We can look at some options here. Can't believe Kirk Cousins second highest owned. Feels like Herbert's going to be forgotten right now. Herbert's going to be forgotten, it seems like. All right, y'all. Nobody's jumping at the bit to tell me who they want me to fire up here. I guess we can move forward. Running backs this week are puzzling to me. Yeah. I'm really starting to lean towards flipping the build. because nobody wants to play these top running backs. And so then if you don't play the top running back, then you got to take your chance in these lower 6K guys, right? Like nobody wants to play Josh Kelly and AJ Dillon. I mean, everybody's playing them. Everybody's playing them, but it doesn't feel good, right? I think you gotta like I love Bijan Robinson this week, and nobody's playing him because he's 9K. But he's a guy I really want to play against the Detroit Lions. Sign me up, you know. But if you play Bijan, can you get to Justin Jefferson? Can you get to Tyreek Hill? Travis Kelce, right? Like that's the main question. So I agree with you. I think running backs is definitely in a weird spot this weekend. There's not a lot of great value. There's value, but not a lot of like standout, like, oh my God, you got to get this. Doesn't matter. This guy's 40% owned. Just click the button and move on. It's not that easy this weekend. It really makes me want to play. I love Travis Etienne this week. But then it's one of these 6K guys, Zach Moss, Madison, Dillon, Sanders. Which one's going to be right? Which one's going to be right? I don't like these games. I do want to play the Steelers game in primetime Sunday night. I will absolutely be playing primetime games. Always do. James says, I want to say Vikes Chargers. Let's do it. Let's build a Vikings Chargers game. I was going to ask you guys want me to do Kirk Cousins or Justin Herbert, but quite frankly, it seems like the field's going Kirk Cousins, so I don't want to do that. I want to go Herbert. Let's do a Herbert, and let's do Keenan Allen was the guy last week. I mean, he was the man. Uh-oh. Broke my projections. But Mike Williams is projecting to be the man this week. Best points per dollar value in the projection. So let's go Mike Williams. And let's go ahead and go Josh Kelly. Save us a little bit of money. Let's go Josh Kelly. And then let's go this route. I love Bijan. I want Bijan. So Bijan, I'm going to go Laporta because I'm going Bijan. Right? And then let's bring this back with Jordan Addison. Because I think that he's definitely in play this week. I think he's definitely in play. While he's not being, he's not projecting the best. It seems like nobody wants to play him on FanDuel. He's a huge get on DraftKings this week. Everybody wants to play him on DraftKings this week. So let's go ahead and play him. Let's find a defense here. You know, one thing we could do is save a little money, and we could go Pacheco, Chiefs defense. That leaves us 6,800. So in the morning or noon game, right? We've got Herbert, Kelly, Mike Williams. Bring back Jordan Addison. We've got a little mini stack in Bijan and Sam Laporta. We've got a secondary stack in Isaiah Pacheco, Chiefs defense, leaving us $6,800 left to play at wide receiver. We could keep adding to the Atlanta-Detroit game. We could just play a one-off Zay Flowers, who we talked about earlier. One-off Amari Cooper, who we talked about earlier. Let's go Zay. Honestly, what this makes me feel like is that we could probably get a little more. Like, what is Keenan Allen at? 8.8? Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. Joshua Kelly. If anything, it gives us more to play with at the flex, right? Go Zay Flowers. You can take Pacheco out. Not that you have to. I mean, I like him in there anyways. So that's the way I like to go this route because, look, Justin Jefferson is phenomenal. He's great. One of the best wide receivers in the game. But if everyone's going to play JJ and Tyreek, give me some Bijan Robinson and flip the build a little bit, right? Now, if you want to go mega stack, just this game in general, I think you could absolutely do that too. If you're going to be in like a really small contest, Parham, he's the one that's kind of out dueling Everett right now. But if you were in a really small contest, say like 90 people or 50 people, 100 people, and you want to just go all in on this game, I think you could do that. You could go this route. Or instead of Addison, you could go Madison here. All right, so Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Donald Parham. I don't think you can get Keenan Allen in there. Maybe Quinn Johnston, but I don't really like. He hasn't really shown up right now. And then bring back Alexander Madison, Justin Jefferson. So now you have 5 from that game, right? And then you could probably go. Could you get in ETN and Nico Collins? Nope. What about Tank Dell? Oh yeah. Do like a little ETN Tank Dell mini stack there. Houston Jacksonville game. I don't mind that play either. I don't mind going that route either. All right, let's build one more. We built the Baltimore game. We built the JJ Tyreek. We built let's build this Atlanta Detroit game. And we're gonna say St. Brown is playing, right? So we're going Laporta, we're going Goff, St. Brown. Hell, I'd even go Gibbs here. I really like Gibbs at 7K. I think he's going to be forgotten this week, guys. Don't forget about Jahmyr Gibbs. I really think he's going to be forgotten this week. The reason being is because he's in that 7K range, and everybody wants to go down to the 6K range for running backs. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to Sunday and his ownership was way under projection. I mean, think about it. Even when we were building these teams, at no point did we even look at 7K running backs, right? We went straight down to the 6K. All right. So we got Goff, Gibbs, St. Brown, Laporta. Let's go London on the bring back here. Probably just London. We don't need to go too crazy. I don't mind Bijan again, but we probably don't. We can just go Bijan and take London out, honestly. Go that route. But let's go London. Saves them a little bit of money there. All right, so here's where we're at. Now we're building a different team, right? A stack that has nothing to do with Justin Jefferson or Tyreek Hill. Do we get to them? Or do we get to a Tony Pollard? If we're going to be spending over 9K, should we just spend it on a different guy like Tony Pollard, right? See, what happens is now you're sitting there on Tony Pollard in the afternoon, and all these guys are just absolutely going off during the first game, and you're just kicking yourself for not playing him. Man, how juicy would that be? A Tony Pollard Dallas defense stack. Gives us 5,600 left. We could probably put Pollard in the flex. Let's see. We want to get a little of this mini Minnesota Chargers. Could I get what's Addison? 68. What's Osborne? Get a 5,600 KJ Osborne from that game. That leaves us 5,700 left. I could put in a $5,700 Isaiah Pacheco just strictly to know, like, okay, if this doesn't hit, right, just Jefferson and Tyreek do go off, I've now got options. I could pivot to Seattle running backs. I could pivot to Miles Sanders, James Conner, Khalil Herbert, right? There's plenty of running backs still in the afternoon that you could go to. I'm not leaving a lot of space open for afternoon this weekend. There's two teams that have high team implied totals, but unless I'm just giga stacking one of those two teams, I'm not leaving a lot of space. Sometimes I'll leave 3 or 4 spots because the afternoon games are the hot commodities. But since both of these games don't have great bringbacks, I'd rather just kind of play their running backs and defenses, I guess, mostly. Not necessarily like leaving 3 to 4 spots so I can swap out people. They also don't have a lot of options, right? Like the Chiefs have no, like, who are you like, oh, I got to swap to Rashee Rice? Like, you're just not feeling comfortable with that right now. Cardinals, who are you going to swap to on the Cardinals, right? So there's just not a lot of opportunities there to swap out. So not going to leave a lot there. All right, shall we go drafting? You guys want to build another team? You want to go draft? I kind of want to go draft. I kind of want to draft. Drafted 2 teams last week at $10 a piece. This week, I never found that, by the way, James. I will keep looking after the show, and I'll find it. Drafted 2 teams last week. We got the Battle Royale at $5. Nearly 68,000 entries here. $30,000 up top. 6 rounds, 6 people in the draft. If you remember from last week, once you draft your team, then it gets thrown out into the all 68,000 entries, and it plays out from there. It's only the main slate. And let's draft. Are you guys going to draft with me? Jump in here right now if you're wanting to draft. Still a couple spots left, so hopefully if you're wanting to draft with us tonight, you can jump in here. We'll see where we land. Kind of all the guys we talked about, Tyreek, JJ, Kelsey, Pollard, Robinson, all at the top here. Feels gross if you get to pick 6. Pick 6 really feels like that's where it goes awry. All right. We got a little Irish red in here. Let's go. I landed pick 3. Which for me, I like Pollard. I like Robinson this week. But quite frankly, just the positional value, if these 2 wide receivers go first, I'm definitely taking Travis Kelce. And I don't even care if I don't stack him up with Patrick Mahomes. I just think that against Chicago, he's projecting so well. You got to take that guy over the running backs because, I mean, in terms of Pollard, like that game could get out of hand so quickly defensively, like they did like week 1. But he is the workhorse. He is the guy. They are giving him everything. I'm not willing to get stupid early in these drafts. I'm willing to, grab a couple darts later on, but not early. The other thing with the Kelsey thing is I'm not stacking this game. I'm not stacking Kelsey or the Bears. So if Mahomes falls back, absolutely awesome. I wouldn't be happier. If not, there's a running back down in that area that I really like this week. A couple quarterbacks later on. So far, there goes Mahomes, John Bro. Jefferson, Hill, I took Travis Kelce, Tony Pollard, Bijan to the top 5 or the top 5. And then at 6, it got weird. Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews at the turn, Patrick Mahomes at 8. CeeDee Lamb goes off at 9. Steph Diggs is still sitting here. He's a monster. It's weird. I don't really feel the urge to click him. Rather, like, y'all, it's Houston. It's Houston. We play our running backs against Houston. Travis Etienne is healthy. Travis Etienne should feast this week against the Houston Texans. So I've got my one tight end. I got my one running back. Now I'm looking at, I could do 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. I'll probably go 2, 3 wide receivers though. Although Gibbs is there too. Lamar still sitting there. I think I'm going to switch it up and go. No, I'm not. I'm going to go Lamar. He's my favorite quarterback on the slate, so just take the dang guy. I almost went Gibbs. It just didn't feel good. I wasn't super excited about Ridley because I already taken ETN. I was going to take Gibbs just to be different, get a couple running backs in there, but didn't seem right. I love Lamar this week, so might as well take him there. After I took Travis Etienne, Steph Diggs, Mike Williams, St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson goes. Irish Red with a Jefferson, Mike Williams, mini stack to start his route, his draft, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's pretty nice. Grill Belichick out of the 6 hole. Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, and he goes Kirk Cousins, Jordan Addison. Got a little stack going there. So I've got Lamar. Gibbs actually falls back to me. Zay Flowers is there, who I definitely want to take with Lamar. I think he'll come back to me. There's a lot. These guys have 2 and 3 wide receivers already with no running back. So I think I'm going to go ahead and switch this up a little bit and take Gibbs here and then queue up Zay Flowers and probably – I'll probably just single stack Lamar, but then I'll probably go kind of dumpster diving here. Maybe like a Drake London on the other side of Jahmyr Gibbs. Nico Collins is still sitting there. I don't think he'll make it back to me again, though. And I'm definitely going to take Zay Flowers because he's the one that fits my stack here. But if Nico somehow fell back again, that would be one. I'm just looking at guys on the other side that would stack up well. I never take 2 running backs in these things. But I feel like these 2 running backs are in really, really good spots this week. Like I might need to build a DFS, a FanDuel team with them too. If Nico comes back to me, I'll be absolutely ecstatic. These guys all do have 2 wide receivers. Kirk with ETN. Christian Kirk? Why? I mean, the problem with the wide receivers right now is you get Calvin Ridley huge first game and then a Christian Kirk huge second game. Is that how the season's going to go? Like, I don't know, but that's kind of what worries me. Grill Belichick goes in and takes Nico Collins, doesn't let him come back to me. We talked about Amari Cooper against this Tennessee defense. Christian Kirk here. Oh, is that what you're saying? I could take Kirk there with him. That does make sense. Let's see. I think I'm going to take Drake London because here's the thing. All these guys below 35 ADP, those are guys who are not being drafted too much. So I want, in this 6th round, I'm looking for guys like Gabe Davis, how I did last week, right? I'm looking for guys that aren't being drafted a whole lot. So again, you're trying to get unique. There's what did I say? 48,000? 68,000 people playing this thing, right? You have to, in order to get the $30,000, you have to beat 67,991 other teams. And so if you start to scroll down here, these guys aren't being drafted. Like KJ Osborne, that would have, to me, I would have, this guy who has the Kirk Cousins, Jordan Addison stack, right? He takes Nico Collins, which I would have loved to take Nico Collins. But if I've got Kirk and Jordan Addison, maybe I'd take KJ Osborne, right? Because if that's going to work, if Kirk's going to be the guy I needed, and I don't have Justin Jefferson, so I don't want Justin Jefferson to go off, so it needs to go through somebody else. Who's it going through, right? Those are just things I'm thinking of. Let's do another one. You guys want to jump in here? If you never played on Underdog before, use my promo code Trevor Steinbacher. They will match your deposit up to $100 using my promo code Trevor Steinbacher. Let's do one more draft and then we'll get out of here for the week. It looks like there's still a spot left, so if you want to jump in now. Oh, got the 103 again. All right now. Got the 103 again. Let's mix it up this time, shall we? Who should I take? Let me know in the chat. Pollard or Bijan? Pollard or Bijan? Let's mix it up this time. Now, this is obviously assuming that JJ and Hill go 1-2. If that doesn't happen, then the hell with the running backs. Pollard or Bijan in the chat. Let me know. Which one should I go with? Draft starts in 5 seconds. It won't take long for me to be on the clock. Pollard or Bijan? Who would you take? For this week, Tony Pollard against the Arizona Cardinals, Bijan Robinson in the Dome in Detroit, Ford Field against the Lions. Keeg starting it off here, I assume with JJ. It's a very easy click. Oh, Victor. Victor going Pollard. That's going to open up Tyreek for me, so don't mind if I do. Didn't even have to get different myself. All right, Tua is a 30 Tua. So I could probably get him. I love Bijan Robinson this week, K Wild. I am loving him. I just have to remember that on Sunday morning when I go to make my lineup. Put a big old sticky note. Don't forget Bijan. The Travis Kelce guy gets Patrick Mahomes in this draft. Lucky. I said it earlier. I really wanted a piece of this Minnesota Chargers game. And I think this is a really good opportunity for me to get a TJ Hawkinson. And then maybe, just maybe, Mike Williams comes back around. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen go back to back, man. Back to back. Didn't even give me a chance. I think I'm going to pour one out for my boy. I hate Derrick Henry. I'm not a Derrick Henry fan. But I said it earlier when talking about FanDuel. When nobody else is going to play Derrick Henry, that feels like the right time to play Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's ADP is almost 20 here. Let me take him 6 spots ahead of that. Maybe the big dog eats this week. Maybe the big dog eats. I forgot Quentin. I guess I'm going to throw Quentin Johnson in there. He could be on the other side of my Hawkinson gig. Oh, I can do Cooper on this team. Oh, Cooper just went. Son of a gun. Addison goes. Who do I want? Tua or Kirk Cousins? Definitely Tua, right? Let's go Kirk Cousins. Let's go Kirk. Switch it up a little bit, right? I got Hawkinson. I'll bring Johnson on the bring back here. I was going to do Tyreek Tua stack, but I think Tyreek's okay by himself. And then what I'll do is literally exactly what I just talked about with if it is Kirk Cousins, who do you want? I don't want it to be JJ. I don't want it to go for this team, right? I don't want it to go to Addison. So I want it to go to KJ Osborne. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to play Quentin Johnston because I really want to play Zay Flowers. And I don't need a bring back for Minnesota, I don't think. So we'll do Zay Flowers and then we'll queue up KJ Osborne. Get ourselves a nice long. Now, the one thing that Johnston does that Zay Flowers can't do is Johnston's not being drafted either, right? So then I would have a couple guys that not a lot of people are drafting. I could have gone Josh Kelly, done a second running back. I like to play one running back, so I don't really, I'd much rather play one running back. I hope you guys like these. We're going to come right out 90 minutes, and I'll get out of here. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Shoot me a DM. Hit me up on Discord, whatever. Just let me know. Do you like to do the underdog drafts? I feel like it gives us one more opportunity to kind of talk about the main slate. We're only drafting guys who are on the main slate. We're only talking about guys on the main slate. So it kind of just gives us one more opportunity to talk through those guys and in a different light. But like it kind of still correlates, right? The games that we talk a lot about throughout the show are the same games we're still targeting when we get to these drafts. By the way, is Kenneth Walker going to be the guy that we need this week? Nobody's talking about Kenneth Walker. Super good points per dollar value projection. Super low roster projection. He's going to be forgotten. He's going to be forgotten there at 7,600. He will be forgotten. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you all for being with me tonight. I appreciate it as always. Again, sorry for the delayed start. I hope you guys join me every Friday night, 8:15 Central Time here on the Bite Size Sports Network. Wednesdays, we'll be back this Wednesday. We missed this week. It's all good. We'll be back next week. So make sure you hit us up Wednesday nights, 8:15 Central, for another damn fantasy podcast. We'll be to talk about your season-long fantasy teams there. Follow me on Facebook at The Rumbles of Red. Follow me on Twitter at TrevorS_FF. Good luck this week. Week 3, baby. Keep the winning going. May the money be in your favor.